Chance to talk about today. We didn't even mention that we're making Black Panther 2. Didn't come up. We didn't mention the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming. We didn't have time to talk about Captain Marvel 2, by the way. We didn't have time to talk about Captain Marvel 2.
So, welcome back to the channel if you are new. So you can tell by the title. It is proposed, it is alleged that Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, might not be around in the future of Marvel. So the headline is, Disney is losing confidence in Captain Marvel, Brie Larson due to Spider-Man. Now this doesn't really make much sense because at the moment, Spider-Man is strictly at Sony Pictures. So, what is good YouTube? So, Captain Marvel's first movie caused a lot of controversy, realistically, in the commentary community, which I'm not really part of. Actually, I'm not part of it at all, because a lot of people were hating on it, saying they're pushing feminism and all that kind of stuff. Then the movie comes out, and it hits over $1 billion, which beats Iron Man 1, Thor 1, Captain America, etc. So it is one of the highest grossing movies in Hollywood, not alone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's one of the highest grossing movies ever. But of course, that does not make it a good movie. We here on this channel liked Captain Marvel. So let's get into the story. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the pop culture based videos. And we also do a text format now on warstew.com. So at the 100,000 subscriber mark, I know it's mental if we ever get there. Not saying we will, but we might do. I will be giving away a PS4 Pro with Spider-Man Game of the Year Edition or an Xbox One X with Gears of War 5 that has recently come out in the last couple of weeks. So let's get into this article. So the article is from Cosmic Book News, but the alleged information is coming from a YouTuber called Overlord DVD with 49,000 subscribers and just over 4 million views. That is for context of the source. So let's read this article. A new rumor claims that Disney has lost confidence in Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, which has to do with the loss of Spider-Man to Sony. It makes sense because, according to this rumor, they were going to bounce Captain Marvel off Spider-Man, essentially. So it is pretty interesting seeing as before the Captain Marvel movie came out, everyone said she's the face of Phase 4, and realistically, guys, it doesn't really make a lot of sense why we haven't heard anything about Captain Marvel 2, except for Kevin Fiege saying back in July at San Diego Comic-Con saying, yeah, Captain Marvel 2 is coming. A lot of people were confused. We all thought Captain Marvel would be everywhere. Now, we know the Miss Marvel TV show they're making on the Disney streaming service. We all know that she is allegedly rumored to be part of that. So, it is claimed that Disney, Marvel Studios, and Kevin Feige were going to use Spider-Man and Tom Holland to help make Brie Larson and Captain Marvel more likable in the MCU. But now that Spider-Man is gone, Disney is worried about the future of Captain Marvel. That is understandable in ways. Interestingly enough, as seen in Spider-Man Far From Home that's now out on digital download, Tom Holland is the first person to have name-dropped Captain Marvel in the MCU. Interesting, yes, that did happen. What is interesting is if Brie Larson was supposed to be the face of the MCU going forward, the new Avengers, and the most powerful character in the MCU, however, Kevin Feige didn't announce Captain Marvel 2 as part of the Phase 4 slate, which is heavily female orientated, and Feige only hinted at a sequel being announced in the future. Yes, although there are rumors saying it's going to come out in 2022, I have questioned why they're not talking about her, but you guys will say, yes, there's a lot in the works, but it is weird how there's no writer for Captain Marvel 2, there's no release date, and there's no hints other than rumors and YouTube channels and stuff like that theorizing. And this article goes on to say, it is also pointed out that Marvel is apparently bringing back Robert Downey Jr. for Phase 4, as Tony Stark is said to be coming back in the Black Widow prequel, and Robert Downey Jr. is also rumored for Ironheart. Okay, yes, they are kind of fabricated stories. Yes, he's going to be in the prequel movie Black Widow, but it's the same scene that was shown at San Diego Comic-Con when Tony Stark literally says to her, run, I'll give you some time, they're coming for you, because obviously it's to do with the Scoville Accords, and obviously she didn't sign it, so she was an enemy of the country, essentially. So realistically, it's a bit of obvious why they say that. Obviously, if Brie Larson is the new face of Marvel going forward, Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers would be a big part of Phase 4. Presently, that is not. I mean, you can't disagree with this point. It is a bit weird. I really think they've handled the situation badly. There was a bit of a backlash from the Captain Marvel movie, and obviously a lot of people didn't like some of the wording that Brie Larson used in, I guess you could say, press junkets, etc. But overall, there was a really good response to the movie, and as you heard when they said Captain Marvel 2 at San Diego Comic-Con, everyone shouted for Captain Marvel. Now, a disclaimer is I really do like Captain Marvel character, so I'm not really saying this to hate on her, but realistically, you said anything, Kevin Feige said anything, and the crowd started to scream. So this is where it gets interesting. So Captain Marvel and Brie Larson is in big trouble, says Rumor. Insiders have filled in Overlord DVD YouTube channel, and why I said he's only got 50,000 subscribers and 4 million views, that's for validity. So if this was information, do you not think that a big publication like Deadline, Variety, anything like that would be publishing stories about Marvel losing confidence in their golden girl, Captain Marvel? All is not well with Captain Marvel and Disney, and the studio has lost confidence in character. Now, obviously, yes, I have sources, so you can't really go on state. You can't come out and say who it is. Disney is having Brie Larson fatigue, and they have lost confidence in the character, in the direction they're moving with Captain Marvel. The YouTuber claims, who stresses this is going to be considered a rumor at the time. Marvel has plans for Captain Marvel, but those plans were utterly derailed by the loss of Spider-Man to Sony. The YouTuber goes on to state that Marvel went on to realize that Captain Marvel is a little stiff and a bit unlikable, so Marvel was counting on pairing her up with Spider-Man in order to humanize and balance her out a bit, which I don't really feel that it's needed, to be honest. I know there was a bit of controversies from some other Avengers not liking her in real life, but let's be honest, guys, do you like every single person you work with? No. So you just act professional, so I don't really think this comment is noted worthy. The YouTuber then goes on to say a reason that Sony may have wanted Spider-Man to continue in the MCU is because Kevin Feige politically correct route he's taken in Phase 4, which among other things sees Feige race banned, gender swap classic Marvel character, which happened in the Captain Marvel to an extent. The YouTuber also claims Spider-Man was going to be used as a second banana to Captain Marvel, meaning she would belittle Spidey in order to prop herself up. Spidey would have been the butt of the jokes and would have brought much needed humor to Carol Danvers. It's also said Captain Marvel would have embarrassed Spider-Man in order to promote Disney's PC feminist agenda that shows females as being better than males. They've kind of done that already in ways. Sony saving Spider-Man from Disney and Marvel. Regarding Sony, the YouTuber claims, unfortunately for Marvel, Sony has other plays for Spider-Man that don't involve Spidey being second best, a cop to Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. It's also said that Disney is kind of stuck as they needed Spider-Man to give Captain Marvel personality, and now they're stuck with a rugged, unlikable hero with no personality and no move forward, claims the YouTuber. But like I said, guys, these rumors that it's an allegation, unless you can come out, unless it's backed up by a big source, Variety or something like that, someone with credibility, this is just a random claim, really. But I do think there is some truth to it, because it is a bit strange how they've literally announced Black Panther 2 before Captain Marvel, and a lot of people thought Captain Marvel 2 would be announced at Phase 4 and would be fire, so it's interesting. The YouTuber goes on to literally say that what everyone else has said, that Disney claimed it was a smash hit and there's no sequel announced at Comic-Con or Disney 23, which is like a lot of creators have already stated that, so the rest of the article doesn't really state anything new. The current thinking is that the loss of Spider-Man derailed Kevin Feige's announcements at D23. It kind of did, because they literally were like, yeah, Spider-Man's gone. A few days later with Disney 23, and all we get is Black Panther 2, which we already knew was coming. Which is why Feige only announced a couple of new Disney Plus shows, brought Ryan Coogler to announce the release date of Black Panther 2. That doesn't even have a title, so yes, I agree with this article. That does suggest that they weren't really going to announce that. It is noted that Disney is releasing a Black Widow prequel movie and Thor Love and Thunder starring Natalie Portman as a female Thor before they even touch Captain Marvel again. Now, yeah, I agree with this article and I agree with this YouTuber that it is a bit strange, and they've definitely lost confidence, because you could say, yeah, it's because of Fantastic Four, it's because of Deadpool, it's because of War Stew, it's because of the X-Men, but they've not really announced any of them other properties. So there's no excuse not to say, yeah, Captain Marvel 2 is coming out in 2024. It's just weird that they didn't state any release date, any writer, any plot. Yes, there can be like plot leaks about Michael Korvac, but realistic, guys, there's all these leaks, yet there's no information. The company is losing confidence in the character. They hope that belittling her appeal against Spider-Man, but those plans have now been, basically been thrown away. So it's essentially saying that the loss of Spider-Man might affect Captain Marvel massively. It's also worth noting Spider-Man being Captain Marvel's lapdog wouldn't be a good thing. Disney is losing confidence in Captain Marvel and may slowly start to realize and alienating the fan base isn't the best way to run a business. What it is interesting that, put all this aside, is at the end of the day, the movie did great. Not a lot of people went to watch the Captain Marvel movie, but it still smashed 1 billion. So I don't really believe she's not popular. She does have a really big fan base. There is a lot of room for growth, but it is a bit weird how we have plans up to 2021 ending with Thor Love and Thunder, then Black Panther 2, yet we don't have any plans for Captain Marvel, who's meant to be the face of the new Avengers, supposed to be the face of Marvel, yet there is literally no information. And then it is interesting to say an article from the LA Times also brought up the reasoning that Sony decided to pull Spider-Man out of the MCU, concerns surrounding how Spider-Man would fit into Phase 4, which definitely fits in with the above rumor. So it is interesting. The YouTuber video is kind of wonky as it puts a spin on things, but it actually brings up some similar arguments to the article, which I've not actually had a chance to look over that, but it is interesting. We also see that Sony, unlike Marvel and Kevin Feige, looks to be sticking with classic versions of the characters' Spider-Man universe, as the Sony characters resemble the actual comic book counterparts, while Disney and Feige race bend and gender swap classic beloved Marvel characters, not for the sake of the story. I mean, yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, you don't have to pander to the audience. I mean, all these gender swaps and race swaps and all this, it's not really needed, like the story about Magneto and Charles X becoming people of color. It's not really needed. Then it is interesting. It goes on to talk about some Star Wars stuff. Disney not liking the fact that Marvel and Feige are alienating the fan base. This is exactly what happened with Disney's Star Wars movies, particularly with Johnson's Star Wars The Last Jedi, as the Star Wars franchise is in current disarray mode, while the streaming content wars here with Disney needing to compete with the likes of Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Warner Bros. Prime, alienating a big part of the fan base, could have massive repercussions. And I honestly don't think they can compete with Netflix and Amazon Prime at the moment. But it is interesting, guys. It is a bit weird that there's no Captain Marvel 2 news when she is one of the biggest attributes in Hollywood, won an Oscar, a very good actor. They just need to give her a better story. But yeah, guys, let me know down below. Do you believe that they are losing confidence in Captain Marvel? It is a bit strange how they got plans for everyone except for the person who was meant to be the leader. Maybe this is a knock-on effect of losing Spider-Man, and maybe as soon as a new deal is going to be like come to terms and conditions, we know a new deal is going to be coming around. Maybe they will announce Captain Marvel. Maybe Captain Marvel had a part in Spider-Man 3. Maybe, but it does seem a bit strange to me and a lot of the people that Captain Marvel had all this going. Like, she's the face, the strongest Avenger. No one's going to be like her. She can time travel, although we know that didn't really happen, but it is interesting. So like always, guys, let me know what you think down below. Do you think Disney is tackling this completely wrong with everything they're trying to change in the MCU? Because realistically, I've read the comments, guys, and I get you. We don't know. Phase 4 is an experiment. Phase 5 is not an experiment because we know X-Men, Fantastic Four, or we know them things will hit fire. But Phase 4, except for Doctor Strange 2, Loki show, and Thor, everything else is experimental. So guys, let me know down below, is Captain Marvel 2 in disarray? I kind of agree with it, but disagree with it because there's no real evidence, but there is evidence at the same time. It's just a bit weird that they haven't really announced anything to do with Captain Marvel outside of San Diego Comic-Con, which was months ago now, where we're in the middle of September. It was announced in July, and we've had no words from Kevin Feige or anyone else outside of, you know, Reddit 4chan, and kind of, I guess you could say, the websites that rumoredly have information that turns out to be wrong. So it's hard to believe anyone. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch y'all later.